Hi guys, today I'm going to show you how to create website using Unsplash API. When the website loads, loader will spin and the images will be seen. Refresh the page, you will see that the loader spin and you will get 14 images from Unsplash API. And when you scroll down, you'll see that the loader spins, and then we will get another 14 images and so on and so forth. Let's start from app.js. So I'm going to write the shortcut RAFCE. Then since we are going to use Unsplash API, I'm going to import Axios from Axios. And Axios then also here I'm going to npm install Axios. Then in the meantime, since we are going to have a state component, I'm going to write that const images and set images. All right, now let's look at the Unsplash API that we are going to use. So in here, you need to create your account. And after that, if you go in my case, I have already created a new application, which is the generate pics. So you can do the same. And after that, when you click on your application, which in my case is the generate pics, I will get the access keys, which is very important. You can just copy the access keys and go to your code. And in your code, you can create a .env file. Inside there, you can put in your access key right here. And also remember to write React app access keys. And when you go in the app.js, you can access it by writing const access key is called the process.env React app access keys. If you look at the Unsplash documentation and libraries, you'll see that the query parameter that we are going to use is going to be this one. And when you put in your access key over here and browse the link, you will see something like this, which is returning a bunch of JSON object. But the only thing that we are focused on is going to be the URLs, which is returning us with this raw, full, regular, small, and thumb images. Now let's fetch our API using use effect. So use effect. And then I'm going to call Axios. Axios dot get is going to be the URL that you've been using. This one. And in here, this, I'm going to first use this as a backtick. So the backtick, then I'm going to use this is going to be our root. It's going to be an API root. And this is going to be our access key. ID equals our access key, and also I'm going to add count. Count is equal to, let's say, 10 for now. Uh, then let's log in the response. Responses console dot log the response dot data. So when we look in the console, then we can see 10 arrays being returned. Since I guess we've done 10, let me do 15. Let's see what happens. So you'll see that 15 objects have been returned, and if you look inside it, you'll see in the URLs you've got the images. These are the images that we should be focusing on. And also you can, if you notice, I'm gonna zoom a little bit. So once I go in the URL, you can see that it's giving me the path as well. This is 0 urls.full, urls.raw, urls.regular, and so on. Now that we looked at the console, let's define our setImage function. So let me write here set images. We have to use a spread operator for this. I'm going to do the 3 dots and the images, and again going to use the spread operator response dot data, and I'm going to write the map function in here. So let's map through the images dot map. If let's define the ID like this, and then let's create the image object. Image. Let's do the source as we were mapping through the image, which is the object that we got, and then the URLs, and let's do the full as we saw in the console, and alt sorry splash image, and let's give a bit of a style here. Fix. All right, save it. So we could see that the image are already loaded. There we are. Now that we got our pictures, images already working, let's put um, the map function, the whole map function inside the Unsplash image components. So let's comment this out and pass in the prop, which is the images props. Let's pass it inside here. Images is called to images, and let's go to Unsplash image here, and let's actually copy the same thing, uh, the whole thing here to here. All right, let me uncomment it. All right, it should still be working. Our functionality should still be good. So let's check. Failed to compile images is not defined. Okay, we got to add in the prop images. All right, so all right, now let's work on heading.js. So I'm gonna remove this header and add a h1 tag. One inside that, let's say free pics. Let's only say free pics, and let's give all right. All right, so now let's work on the loader.js. For the loader, I'm going to use pure CSS loaders, in which I'm going to use this one. And then if you just click on the source, you'll see that you'll see all the CSS is there, which we need to copy. And also the HTML file is there. So just copy this one and go to your link, link it up here like this. And then again, the CSS part, just copy the whole thing. And let's create a CSS file inside here in the components. File.css, and in there, let's copy the whole thing, save it, then go to loader and import style.css. So we are good. All right, so after this, our functionality still looks great. If I look here, we have our header right here, and we have the pictures, but we have not been able to add in our loaders yet. So we are going to use React Infinite Scroll component for our loader. So let's install it. In the meantime, let's import it, as well as if you see here, we need to copy exactly the same. So after the heading, let's copy this, and this one goes out to be the loader. And fetch data. I'm going to make fetch images, and let's close it and take this down here and also delete this. Save it. Now let's make a const fetch images equals take this down here. So take this here and the fetch images, let's call it here, fetch images inside the use effect, and I'm gonna call in this as well as I'm gonna pass count. Let's go to 14 and make it this to count. Alright, so looks like we forgot to add in a comma here, and save it. Put a space, and let's run that. Okay, line 20, 921. Let's see what has happened. 920 items. Okay, this would be our images and not the item. Okay. All right, so this is working. Our functionality is working, but when we reload it, I don't see the loader. So let's see what has happened here. So probably looks like our functionality is all good, but let's look at the CSS part. Okay, this is white, so let's make it red for now and save it, and let's refresh it. You see that? All right, so our functionality is fully working. We just need to add a bit of we are going to use Material UI to make it look nicer. I have installed npm install Material UI core and Material UI icons in my app. You can do the same. I have copied the links for the font and font icons. You can copy it and paste it underneath the public HTML. So you can see I've linked it like this. I'm going to use the Material UI grid component. So I'm going to use this one, the basic grid. So I'm going to start copying. So let me copy this. Mhm. I don't need the paper, so I'm going to cut it off. Then we need to add in this. And this one, I'm deleting this. Let's add the grid item inside the images. So we need to change a little features, like we are going to remove the return statement. So let's say delete this and add this parentheses around, save it, and when we reload it, you will see, all right, there's some error, which, all right, this needs to go inside here. And also I have added CSS, a very simple CSS background, and the text align center CSS, which I'm going to import in the app.js. So let's import it here and save it. And let's see now how our app looks like. Okay, still something missing. So let's see what's happening in the images. Is it this one that's in there? Save it for now. Alright, refresh. Alright, there you go. Now you can see we have got all the images and everything is all ready, but we don't have the spaces in between. So for that, I'm gonna simply make the width 200% instead of 200 pixels. And let's see what happens after that. All right, there you go. All right, there we are. And if you look at iPhone, we will have the extra small pixel. If we displaying two images in a grid, if we go to iPhone 6, 7 Plus, the same thing. iPad is gonna be 3 pictures in a grid. iPad Pro is gonna have 6 in a grid. I'm loading more. Surface Duo is going to have 2. Galaxy Fold 2. Now, I'm going to work a little bit on the header since I see the header is not so much organized. So let's head towards um, the heading, and let's write like free pics from Unsplash. Save it and going to the app.js. We don't want this hello from app. To remove it, save it. Let's see how it looks now. Yeah, much better. All right, so this is the end of the video today. Thank you so much for watching,